very, very closely indeed. Let's show that video one more time from the beginning so everyone can get a sense of what unfolded. Watch this.
Yeah, look what happened.
All right, you can hear people screaming. You can hear people saying, get down, get down, get down. Obviously a very, very dangerous, very sensitive moment indeed. The former U.S. Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow is joining us right now. Jonathan, you've watched the video. You saw the Secret Service agents rush to the podium there, rush up, tell everybody to get down. What's your sense? What unfolded? I'm not hearing Jonathan Wackrow. Let's see if we can get that connection up as quickly as possible. You see law enforcement on the scene there. This is Butler, Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh, where just moments ago, the former president of the United States was speaking at a campaign rally when all of a sudden you could hear what sounded like shots. You could hear him raise his right hand, see him raise his right hand, and it goes to the ground. Secret Service comes up and they begin to escort him out of there as quickly as possible, but they're all deep on their knees, deep on the ground, watching all of this unfold. I think we might have the former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe joining us right now. Andrew, are you there?
I am, Wolf. Yeah, I'm right here.
Tell us your sense of what unfolded right now. It looked, I don't know if this is exactly what happened, it looked like something was hitting Trump on the side of his face. I don't know if it was bullets or what. And all of a sudden he went down, and then we could see some blood near his ear. But what's your sense?
Yeah, obviously very tough situation to kind of parse through at this early moment with very little information. But from what you see on the video, it's interesting to me that he is looking to his right, and then he raises his right hand to his right ear, which we know from other photographs that are appearing quickly online. We later see bleeding as they're taking him away. So from that series of events, it appears as if something, possibly a gunshot, who knows what else, hit him from some area to his right. It almost seems like it would have to have come almost from behind or very, kind of a hard angle to his right, because you couldn't actually see what he was reacting to, as that was the side of his face that was turned away from the camera. He clearly stands up, raises his fist, as you're seeing now on the video, as they're taking him away. So it appears, thank God, he seems to be okay and walking of his own power as he raises his fist in the air again there. Obviously, he's probably, incredibly, it's an unbelievably intense, critical incident. He's reacting in the moment pretty strongly there. Secret Service appears to have reacted exactly the way they're supposed to. They immediately take the principal, in this case, of course, the former president, put them on the ground and cover him with their own bodies, with whatever they have to protect him. Most of that podium and the area around it are specifically built up to resist this kind of attack. So it provides a place of cover and protection for the president if he has to be taken to the ground immediately, as you saw here. So those things that were clearly already in place seem to have, those procedures seem to have worked as they are supposed to. Now you can see those men in the dark uniforms with the long guns, the rifles. Those are undoubtedly part of the Secret Service counter-assault team. That is their role when there's ever any sort of an attack on the president. They immediately look for the attacker. They are looking to engage someone who might have a weapon, someone who might have a gun. So that's what you probably see them doing as they walk across in front of the protected area. They're out there at great risk to themselves, but that's their goal, is to look for the shooter or the attacker in that moment.
It sounded like when I was watching it live on television, Andrew, and it sounded like a gunshot or two. You could hear a bang. You could hear something that sounded like a gunshot. At an event like this, an outdoor rally like this, where thousands of people gather, under normal circumstances, wouldn't there be magnetometers that would allow people to get through? Magnetometers that could detect a weapon, a rifle, or a gun?
Yeah, sure. It's hard for me to imagine. Again, we don't know what the procedures were in place for this specific event yet. I'm sure we will learn all those details as this story develops. But it's really hard for me to imagine that they would have a former president in front of a large crowd, a crowd of people who don't have to be identified ahead of time and don't submit to any sort of security clearance. So it's really hard for me to imagine that you would let that sort of a crowd assemble that close to a former president without having to pass through a magnetometer first, because that's, of course, how you prevent guns from coming into these events. So again, many questions to be asked here. There will be a thorough investigation to understand exactly how, if in fact somebody got in there with a weapon, how did they get in? And I think appropriately, the Secret Service is treating this as a crime scene. They're going to go over every inch of this space to try to reconstruct exactly what happened. But right now, obviously, the priority is to protect the former president, get him the medical treatment that he needs, get him to a place of safety.
Yeah, that's priority number one, is to make sure he's going to be okay following this really scary incident in Butler, Pennsylvania, at this Trump campaign rally that was just beginning as we saw what was unfolding. The former Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow is with us. I hope we've connected with you, Jonathan, but I'm anxious to get your analysis of what you think happened based on the video that we've been showing our viewers.
Yeah, well, for the viewer, this is extremely shocking, right? Like, we don't see this level of attack towards any of our political leaders, or in this case, the former president. But for the Secret Service, you have to understand that this is something that they practiced thousands and thousands of hours for, this exact moment. As we saw, everything was textbook in the way that they reacted. They actioned off of the sound of a threat. In this case, what they perceived was some sort of gunfire, coming from what is believed to be the right of the former president. If you looked at the moment that you heard that the instant sound of what was believed to be gunfire, those Secret Service agents rushed in and did exactly what they are trained to do, which is to put maximum attention to the protectee and minimum attention to the problem, right? For that working shift that's around the president or the former president, they need to react very quickly, make him safe. And the way that they're doing it is exactly what we saw. They put their bodies in between the former president and the perceived threat, so that they would actually absorb any secondary, type of, rounds that may come into the president. They do a rapid assessment. The president's on the ground. He has agents that are on top of him. They're quickly trying to assess his current state. Was he hit? What is going on? All the while, they are getting information from agents that are outside of that inner circle around what is going on. Where is the perceived threat coming from? What is the next course of action? We actually can hear some of the audio. They obviously got some indication that they can move the president, that it's safe to move the president, or the risk is minimized somehow. You heard them call out some of the audio, the commands out loud to each other, so they work in unison, removing that the protectee, in this case the former president, off the X, off of that attack location, into a safer location, which in this case was the armored vehicle. From there, the detail leader and other members of the Secret Service do another assessment of the president's health, making sure that there's no immediate concern. Again, was he shot, or is there any secondary wounds? Anything that they do not see visibly at that moment. They are going through that rapid assessment immediately while the motorcade is departing. And again, Wolf, I cannot stress this enough. All of the actions that you see by the Secret Service are coordinated. They think about this type of attack all the time. They know how to react. They have primary and secondary modes of transportation out of that site. There's calls being made around whether or not they need medical attention, or they're going to go to a safe house or back to an aircraft to depart the area. So all of what you're seeing is very dynamic, but this is what the Secret Service does the best, and we just saw that happen live on television.
You know, Jonathan, and we're showing our viewers once again the video, and you could, and if we get back, I want to just get back to the beginning when the former president is still speaking, and all of a sudden we hear some bangs. I want you to listen closely, Jonathan. Tell me if those were gunshots or potentially something else. Let me go back to the top of this video. We'll hear the former president speaking, and then we'll hear some noise, and then all of a sudden he raises his right hand to his ear, and it looks like he's been shot, but we don't know that for sure. I just want to point out that the Secret Service is now saying he's been removed. He's in a vehicle. He's going somewhere. He is safe, and that's good news that he is safe right now. But let's go back to the top of this. We'll hear the former president speaking, and then we'll hear some banging noise. And you tell me, Jonathan, if these are gunshots.
Oh, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
You hear people screaming and people shouting, "Get down, get down, get down." Well, what was your assessment of the noise, the banging noise that we heard just before the former president raised his right hand to his face, and you could then see some blood near his ear? Go ahead.
So, Wolf, I mean, it certainly sounds like a gunfire, but let me put this in the perspective of a Secret Service agent. Myself, I have stood on that stage. I know exactly what is going on through the minds of those agents that are there. They don't have the time to make that 100% determination. Is this gunfire? Where is it coming from? What they know is that there's some sort of threat. They may not know exactly what it is, but they know that they need to react extremely quickly in fractions of a second count. You saw that the Secret Service agents came in, they pulled him down, and they dove on top of him. That is the right call, right? We don't know what that primary sound was. That could have been gunfire, but it could have also been something else. The moment that they perceive a threat to the life of the former president, they are going to react. And in this case, their reaction time and what they did could have potentially, saved the president's life. This is an extremely dynamic situation. It's unpredictable. That's why you always see Secret Service agents very close by, within arm's reach of the former president or the president or any type of protectee, to be able to have this fraction of a second reaction time. One other note, Wolf, I want to say is some of the members of this detail specifically, some of the people that were watching on the screen react, I trained with them. I worked with them on the president's detail. I know them extremely well. They are the most competent agents that the Secret Service has. They reacted perfectly. I trained with them. This is exactly what I trained with them on, these types of events, and they reacted near flawlessly.
And they got him into that vehicle, and they're taking him away right now. The Secret Service saying that he is safe right now, and let's hope that his condition is good as well. We're watching this. This is historic. This is dramatic developments unfolding right now. A very quick question, Andrew. A huge crowd like that, won't these people who are going to be especially getting close to the former president of the United States, who is under constant Secret Service protection, won't they have to go through magnetometers first so that they can determine if there are any weapons being brought in?
Yeah, well, you would expect that would be required of anyone who would attend a rally of this size. Certainly anyone that would be in that kind of the inner ring, the closest seats, either in front of or behind the president. Now, I can't say what the actual rules were in place for this rally. We'll find that out later. But the magnetometers are the only way to ensure that this large group of people who you do not know, people who have not been subjected to any sort of battle rally.
And I can speak with my own personal history. I spent 7 years as a White House correspondent, and I know that anytime I or any other journalists, they would be checked to make sure there were no, they would have to go through metal detectors to protect a president or a former president is safe. You saw him removed quickly by Secret Service agents. There you see video of that. Once again, they lift up. He had gone down on the ground. They lifted him up, and as they're taking